You started as a personal trainer because you wanted to change lives. Maybe you were an athlete, or you had a successful weight loss story, or you've seen firsthand how fitness can improve other people's lives and their health and their happiness. What a great reason to start a career, one with the goal of helping others. Well, one of the challenges that passionate fitness professionals have is that they struggle to create demand for their services. In other words, they struggle to get new clients. They often spend time perfecting their craft with new certifications or new specializations, but that, for some reason, does not automatically send people running to sign up with them. Or they struggle to learn how to present their services and overcome the tough objections. Often, though, they're left feeling that all their attempts to overcome objections seem to either turn potential clients off or just make them feel like they're a used car salesman. So what's the deal? How can trainers get more people to want to utilize their programs that they've worked so hard to perfect and create without having to constantly overcome objections? Well, there are a number of high-level strategies for creating demand in your services that we will cover in this course. These strategies drive everything from product development or creating your sessions, which means the services that you offer, in other words, to marketing plans and sales strategies as well. While we'll be focusing on marketing strategies in this section, it's important to understand all of the strategies because you'll need to utilize each of them at some level in order to be successful. Let's take a brief look at each of the strategies. First is the product-driven strategy. A product-driven strategy attempts to create the best product in the marketplace. Think of companies like Ferrari or Ritz-Carlton hotels. Not surprisingly, these products and services and these brands tend to cost more than the competition as well. But people are willing to pay for higher quality in brands, here's the key, in brands that they're familiar with and the brands that are known for their quality. A problem with relying on this strategy as a personal trainer is that since you're offering a service, it's hard for potential clients to fully grasp how your knowledge, your certifications, and your specializations adds value and differentiates you from other trainers with similar letters next to their names and similar experience. They really don't know the difference between one certification and another, and the science, it goes right over their head when you talk too much about it. This is what we call the curse of knowledge when presenting. Unless you have a strategy to communicate what makes your service different, the consumer can't typically understand it based simply on the tools that you use or the knowledge that you have, like talking about HIT training and afterburn and things like that. With products like cars or hotels or food, consumers can easily tell the difference by seeing, smelling, and tasting. Not with our services though. And that is why relying on a product-driven strategy can be a tough way to drive people to us and to become famous, or well-known for that matter, especially when you're starting out. Because with a product-focused strategy, word of mouth becomes vital over time. The second strategy is a strategy that's driven by sales. A selling-driven strategy puts the majority of its effort into hunting for new clients or finding leads. Sound familiar? This is a challenging strategy because you're frequently trying to pitch a service like personal training to someone who's not yet aware of the value or wasn't even shopping for it in the first place. This is a really tough way to increase value. Selling something that someone wasn't even shopping for and hasn't been given the opportunity to experience its value or its benefits, because a lot of the benefits aren't seen for a while, for a long way down the road. This could be why you're constantly having to overcome objections. You're ignoring the customer-driven strategy, which is the strategy we're going to cover next. Customer-driven strategy is the last strategy we're covering though. This strategy connects with the customer's journey through messaging that builds value in their mind, the perception. It builds value by speaking directly to their needs, wants, demands, and the values that they value most that you offer in your ability to create the best programs. But more importantly, it's also focused on messaging to how you help them get past the barriers. That's the key, the barriers that are preventing them from getting to their goals. Studies tell us that the most common barriers to getting involved in exercise are time, energy, motivation, lack of enjoyment, boredom, lack of confidence, rewards to getting that progress, lack of encouragement, lack of guidance, uneasiness with change, cost, and fear of being injured. Now, each of these other strategies in part are necessary, But when it comes to building a business, they're far more effective if you have first established an effective customer-driven strategy as the foundation. This strategy creates demand by, number one, knowing the consumer's needs, wants, demands, and the specific barriers to solving their problem. Number two, by communicating not only how you solve their problem, but how you solve it better than any other solution, or your competition for that matter. Number three, and lastly, by delivering a high-quality service that delivers on all of the promises that you've made. The goal here is not to simply sell things. Instead, your goal is to solve the consumer's problems with your solution. And by doing so, you will inevitably drive more sales. So while the selling-driven strategy is focused on hunting and gathering, the customer-driven strategy is focused on planting seeds that you'll later be able to harvest. The seeds we're planting, however, must begin to create the perception of value for the consumer.